I wanted to ask you about Elena Kagan. How can the GOP stop her nomination?
Well, I think they have to ask key questions, and one of the most interesting, I think, is to get all of her memos and internal writing about the Saudi offer of $10 million to Harvard, because here was someone who was willing to go all the way to the Supreme Court to avoid having the U.S. military recruit on campus during 2 wars, but didn't seem to have any opposition to the Saudis investing in Harvard during the same period. Now, it would be very helpful to find out just what is her attitude, and why did she think one was all right and the other wasn't?
Do you think that that military recruiting issue on Harvard's campus will be her Waterloo in the process?
Well, I don't know that there is a Waterloo at this stage. I think we need to understand better, why would you nominate in the middle of a war, right after the Times Square bombing, after the Detroit attempted bombing? Why would you nominate an anti-military person who seems to have deep opposition to the American military to be on the Supreme Court? And what would that say about her judgment in all the various cases involving terrorism that come up before the court? But I think at the moment we don't know enough, and I'm hoping that Senator Jeff Sessions and his staff will insist on her answering, and also on her releasing documents from her past career to let us understand what her thinking was at the time.
Now, do you agree that, as Kagan herself has written, that senators need to ask more probing questions and that nominees need to be more forthcoming with their answers?
Well, I think we need to have a clear sense when you give somebody a lifetime appointment with the level of power that the Supreme Court has accumulated. You have to have a very clear sense of what values and principles they will apply. This is not some social nomination. This is a nomination about an enormous level of power. And I think we need to understand, does she understand the core principles that make America the country it is? Does she understand about national security? Does she have a sense of the limits of judges? I mean, I'm very disturbed by the number of judges who now think they can be commander-in-chief and who make decisions about national security that ought to be the president's prerogative. So I do think probing, serious questions are absolutely required on either side, no matter who nominates them, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, whether it's a conservative or a liberal.